The chamber stretched for kilometers, its crystalline walls pulsing with soft blue light. 847 species had representatives here, each sitting in their designated area. Some breathed oxygen, others methane. Some had scales. Others had skin that shifted like liquid metal. But today they all shared the same uncomfortable silence. High Arbiter Zelthanos stood at the center podium, his mantis-like body towering 3 meters high. His compound eyes reflected the holographic display floating above them all. The display showed a small yellow star surrounded by 8 planets. The third planet glowed with a faint red barrier. "The quarantine has held for 312 years, Zelthanos announced. His voice translated instantly into 847 languages. Sol 3 remains contained. The humans cannot escape. They cannot even detect the barrier we placed around their star system." Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Some species clicked their approval. Others hummed in agreement. The quarantine of Earth had been the most debated decision in Council history, but time had proven it necessary. Or so they believed. Councillor Thren, a reptilian being with emerald scales, shifted in his seat. "How long must we keep them locked away? 3 centuries is a long time for any species to survive in isolation." Zelthanos turned his massive head toward Thren. "As long as necessary. Need I remind this council why we took this action? When we first detected their radio signals in 1936 by their calendar, our xenologists studied them for 100 years. The reports were unanimous. Humanity is a type Omega threat." Another hologram appeared, showing Earth's surface in different time periods. Cities grew and fell. Weapons evolved from swords to missiles. Wars consumed entire continents. They achieved powered flight in 1903, Zelthanos continued. By 1945, they had nuclear weapons. 42 years. My own species took 6,000 years to make that same journey. The Krell took 12,000. Humanity advanced faster than any species we have ever encountered. And they did it while fighting constant wars, added Councillor Mornax, a floating jellyfish-like creature. They weaponized everything they discovered. Nuclear power became nuclear bombs. Rocket science became missile technology. Even their medicine started as research for chemical weapons. Thren looked at the images of Earth. He saw cities lit up at night, vehicles crowding streets, ships crossing oceans. But they also created art, music, literature. They show capacity for beauty alongside destruction. "Beauty does not eliminate danger," Zelthanos said firmly. The decision was correct. We erected the quantum barrier in 2147. From outside, their solar system appears normal. From inside, they cannot detect it. Space simply becomes impassable at the edge of their solar system. Their ships malfunction. Their instruments fail. They believe it is a natural phenomenon they do not yet understand. The chamber fell quiet again. Every species present knew the alternative to quarantine. Other dangerous species in the past had been eliminated completely. Humanity had been shown mercy even if they would never know it. "The barrier requires no maintenance," Zelthanos said. "It will hold for millions of years. Eventually, humanity will either destroy itself, as violent species tend to do, or they will evolve beyond their aggressive nature. Either way, the galaxy remained safe." That was when the alarms began. Red light flooded the chamber. A high-pitched wailing sound made several species cover their hearing organs. Zelthanos' antennae stood straight up in alarm. "What is happening?" demanded Councillor Vesh, a rock-like being who rarely spoke. A technician, a small gray species called the Plin, rushed to the podium. Its 3 fingers danced across a holographic control panel. "High Arbiter, we are receiving emergency signals from monitoring station Theta 9. They report anomalous readings from the Sol system barrier." "Anomalous how?" Zelthanos demanded. "The barrier is fluctuating. Power levels are becoming unstable." The chamber erupted in chaos. 847 species began talking at once, their translators creating a cacophony of sound. Zelthanos raised his forearms, calling for silence. "This must be a technical malfunction. The barrier cannot be affected from inside. It is based on quantum-locked physics. No species inside can even detect it, let alone damage it." The Plin technician's face turned a darker shade of gray. "High Arbiter, there is more. Monitoring station Theta 9 reports detecting energy signatures consistent with deliberate manipulation of the barrier's quantum field." The chamber went silent, completely silent. "That is impossible," Zelthanos said, but his voice lacked its usual confidence. Station Theta 9 is requesting immediate military support. They believe the humans are attempting to breach the barrier. Thren stood up from his seat. How could they even know the barrier exists? We designed it to be completely undetectable from inside. The technician pulled up new data. The hologram showed the Sol system, but now the red barrier was pulsing irregularly. Waves of energy rippled across its surface like water disturbed by something underneath. We do not know how they discovered it, the technician said, but our sensors are detecting massive energy output from multiple locations in their solar system. They appear to be targeting specific points in the barrier's structure. Zelthanos felt something he had not experienced in centuries. Fear. How long until the barrier fails? Unknown, High Arbiter. But the fluctuations are increasing in frequency and intensity. Whatever technology they are using, it is working. Counselor Mornax floated forward. We must send the enforcement fleet immediately. If the barrier falls and humanity escapes into the galaxy before we can contain them again. The creature did not finish the sentence. It did not need to. Every being in that chamber understood the implications. Humanity had been locked away for 3 centuries, told nothing about the galaxy beyond their system. They would have questions, they would have anger, and based on everything the Council knew about human nature, they would have plans. Zelthanos made his decision. Activate the enforcement fleet, all 12,000 ships. They are to proceed to Sol system immediately and reinforce the barrier. Use whatever force is necessary to stop the humans from breaching it. As the orders went out across the galaxy, Zelthanos looked at the pulsing red barrier surrounding Earth's sun. For 3 centuries, the Council had congratulated themselves on their wisdom in containing humanity. They had believed themselves safe. Now, watching the barrier destabilize under impossible human technology, Zelthanos wondered if the cage had ever been for humanity's containment, or if it had been to give the galaxy time to prepare for what was coming. The barrier pulsed again, stronger this time. Somewhere inside that prison, humanity was knocking on the door, and they were not asking permission to leave. The enforcement fleet arrived at the edge of Sol system 3 days later. 12,000 warships, each one carrying enough firepower to destroy a planet. They represented 400 different species, united under Council authority. Admiral Corthan, a battle-hardened warrior from the Krellian Empire, commanded the fleet from his flagship, the Unyielding Truth. All ships, maintain formation, Corthan ordered. His forearms worked multiple control panels simultaneously. Sensors, give me a full scan of the barrier. The sensor officer, a crystalline being named Shardex, studied the readings. Her light pulsed in confusion. Admiral, the barrier integrity is at 63%. It has decreased by 12% since we left Council space. How is that possible? The barrier should be impenetrable. Should be, Admiral. But look at these readings. Shardex transferred the data to the main view screen. Energy signatures lit up like fireworks across the barrier's inner surface. The humans are hitting it with concentrated beams from 17 different locations. Mars, Earth's moon, orbital stations, even Jupiter's moons. They have created a network of weapons specifically designed to break quantum-locked fields. Corthan felt his blood run cold. Quantum-locked technology was Council science developed over 50,000 years. How could humans locked away and isolated have not only discovered it, but learned to counter it? Open a channel to all human facilities, Corthan commanded. Let me speak with their leaders. The communications officer tried for several minutes before shaking her head. Admiral, they are not responding. But we are picking up massive amounts of human transmissions. Internal communication, ship-to-ship channels, everything. They know we are here. They are ignoring us. Show me what they are saying. The translator systems work to convert human languages into something the crew could understand. Fragments of conversations filled the bridge. Station Tranquility. Increase beam power to Section 7. Colony ship Prometheus is ready for launch. All 15,000 passengers are aboard. Ground control. The barrier is weakening faster than projected. We might have enough time for another 3 ships, colony ships. They were preparing to run. How many human ships are we detecting? Corthan asked. Shardex checked her instruments. 73 large vessels, Admiral. Each appears capable of carrying between 10,000 and 50,000 passengers. They are positioned near the weakest points in the barrier. Corthan did the calculation in his head. Humanity could evacuate between 700,000 and 3 million people through those ships. Earth's population was over 12 billion. They were saving less than 1% of their species. The rest would remain trapped if the Council restored the barrier. They are abandoning their homeworld, Corthan said quietly. They would rather flee into an unknown galaxy than remain in their cage. Admiral, the barrier is destabilizing further, Shardex reported. 57% integrity. At this rate, it will fail completely in 48 hours. Then we stop them before that happens. Battle Group Alpha, proceed to coordinates marking the weakest barrier point. We will use our own quantum generators to reinforce it. 1,000 ships broke from the main fleet, approaching the shimmering red barrier. As they drew closer, their instruments began malfunctioning. Navigation systems flickered. Weapon systems powered down randomly. Life support showed error messages. What is happening? Corthan demanded. Unknown, Admiral. The ships report experiencing cascading system failures. Nothing catastrophic, but everything is glitching simultaneously. On the view screen, Corthan watched as Battle Group Alpha slowed to a stop, dead in space. None of the ships exploded. None were destroyed. They simply stopped working. Get me a status report from Group Alpha's commander. Admiral Corthan, came the strained voice of Commander Yeltrix. All my ships are experiencing the same phenomenon. Every system is failing one by one, then restarting, then failing again. We cannot maintain stable operations. We are retreating to minimum safe distance. Do it, Corthan ordered. His mind raced. How were the humans doing this? Then Shardex made a sound of surprise. Admiral, we are receiving a transmission. It is directed specifically at our flagship. From Earth? No, sir. From one of their colony ships, the Prometheus. Put it on screen. The view screen changed to show a human woman in a dark blue uniform. She appeared to be in her 40s by human aging standards, with short black hair and calm eyes. Behind her, the bridge of her ship bustled with activity. I am Commander Sarah Chen of the Earth Colonial Fleet, the woman said. Her voice was steady, showing no fear. I am addressing Admiral Corthan of the Galactic Council Enforcement Fleet. Corthan leaned forward. You know my name. Chen smiled slightly. We know many things, Admiral. For example, we know you are a decorated veteran of the Krell vaccine war. We know you believe in honor and following orders. We know you think you are doing the right thing. How can you possibly know so much about you? About the Council? Chen's smile faded. Admiral, we discovered your barrier 158 years ago. A failed warp drive experiment in 2089 created a pulse that made the barrier briefly visible. We have had over a century and a half to study it. Corthan felt his stomach drop. 158 years. While the Council believed humans remained ignorant of their prison, humanity had been watching. Learning. We intercepted your communications, Chen continued. All of them. Every transmission between Council worlds passes through quantum-entangled relays. Very secure, very sophisticated, completely open to anyone who understands the underlying mathematics. We have been listening to you for 137 years. That is not possible, Corthan said, but even he heard the doubt in his voice. You imprisoned us for the crime of being dangerous, Chen said. Her voice grew harder. For advancing too quickly, for being too aggressive. Did it never occur to you what that imprisonment would do? All of Earth's nations united for the first time in our history. Every war stopped. Every resource redirected to a single goal, freedom. On the view screen, Chen stood up. Behind her, alarms started sounding. You gave us 158 years with nothing to do but focus on breaking your cage. You were right to be afraid of what we would become, Admiral. You were absolutely right. The transmission ended. At the same moment, every alarm on Corthan's ship began wailing. Barrier integrity at 40%, Shardex shouted. It is collapsing faster now. They have increased power to their weapons. Can we stop them? No, Admiral. They have planned for every countermeasure we might use. Any ship that approaches the barrier experiences system failure. The quantum mathematics required to create that effect should not even be possible, but they are doing it. Corthan watched helplessly as the red barrier flickered and dimmed. Through the weakening field, he saw the human colony ships powering up their engines that, according to his sensors, operated on principles Council science said were impossible. All ships, fall back to secondary positions, Corthan ordered. We cannot stop the barrier from failing. Prepare to intercept the human ships once they break through. But even as he gave the order, Corthan knew it was useless. If humanity had learned this much while trapped, what would they become once free? The Council had created exactly what they feared most. a desperate, unified, technologically advanced humanity with every reason to hate them. The barrier shattered like glass. Red light exploded across space, then faded to nothing. For the first time in 312 years, the Sol system was open to the galaxy. The human colony ships surged forward. 73 vessels, each one moving faster than Council sensors could track. They spread in different directions, scattering into the vast darkness of space. Corthan's communications officer turned to him with wide eyes. "Admiral, we are receiving another transmission. Audio only, broadcasting on all frequencies. Play it." A male voice filled the bridge. It was calm, measured, and absolutely terrifying in its certainty. "To the Galactic Council and all who serve it. Humanity is free. You will not contain us again. You will not negotiate with us. You will not threaten us. You imprisoned us for being dangerous. Now you will learn what we have become in your cage. This is not a declaration of war. This is a statement of fact. We are coming, and nothing in your galaxy will stop us." The transmission ended. Corthan sat in his command chair, surrounded by 12,000 warships, and felt utterly powerless. 2 years passed since humanity broke free from their cage. The Galactic Council watched in growing horror as humans spread across the Orion Arm like wildfire, but they did not attack. They did not declare war. They did something far worse. They competed. Ambassador Maria Rodriguez stood in the council chamber, the first human to ever address that ancient body. She wore a simple gray suit and smiled pleasantly at the 800 species staring at her. Most looked at her with suspicion, some with fear, a few with curiosity. "Thank you for allowing me to speak," Maria said. Her words were translated instantly. "I understand this is difficult for all of you. For 3 centuries you believed us contained. Now we are here. I want to be clear about humanity's intentions." High Arbiter Zelthanos leaned forward on his podium. "We have seen your intentions, human. You have claimed 78 star systems in 2 years. Systems that were under Council jurisdiction." Maria shook her head. "With respect, High Arbiter, those systems were unclaimed. Your own records list them as uninhabitable or economically worthless. We simply disagreed with your assessment. The radiation levels alone should kill any carbon-based life." Councillor Mornax objected. "System Kepler 442 has stellar output that would sterilize any colony." "It would, yes," Maria agreed. "If we use conventional shielding, we do not. Our coherence technology allows us to adjust local physical constants within a limited area. We quite literally change the rules of physics in our colonies. Radiation that should kill us simply passes through harmlessly." The chamber erupted in disbelief. Councillor Thren, who had remained sympathetic to humanity, spoke up. "You are saying you can rewrite the laws of physics? That is not possible. That is not science." "It is science you have not discovered yet," Maria replied. "Or perhaps science you chose not to pursue. We learned many interesting things during our imprisonment. For instance, we learned that the Council has existed for 50,000 years. In all that time, your technology has barely advanced. Why is that?" Zelthanos' mandibles clicked in irritation. "The Council maintains stability. Uncontrolled technological advancement leads to weapons development, which leads to war. We have maintained peace for millennia by carefully managing progress. You have maintained stagnation," Maria said flatly. "And now we are showing the galaxy what they could have become." She was not exaggerating. In those 2 years, humanity had transformed from prisoners to economic powerhouses. Their colony on Kepler 442, a world bathed in deadly radiation, now produced exotic materials that should not exist. Their settlement around the unstable star VY Canis Majoris harvested energy at rates that made Council fusion plants look like candles. Most shocking of all was New Shanghai, built in the magnetosphere of a neutron star. Humanity had constructed a city where physics went mad, where gravity crushed atoms and magnetic fields tore apart molecules. They thrived there, mining strange matter and producing technology the Council could barely understand. "Your people are selling goods at prices we cannot compete with," Councillor Vesh rumbled. "Our economies are struggling." "Then perhaps your economies need to change," Maria suggested. "We offer our goods at fair prices. We do not force anyone to buy from us. If Council goods cannot compete, that is not our fault." What she did not say, but everyone knew, was that humanity's prices were too good. A quantum computer that cost 10,000 Council credits from a traditional manufacturer could be bought from humanity for 1,000. Medical equipment, food supplies, rare elements, everything humanity produced cost a fraction of council prices. Trade routes were shifting. Entire species were abandoning traditional suppliers to buy human goods. The council's carefully managed economy, based on artificial scarcity and controlled distribution, was collapsing. Captain James Okoye floated in zero gravity aboard the exploration ship Indomitable, watching his crew work. They had just finished surveying their 5th star system this month. Every system they found they claimed for humanity. "Captain, we have something unusual," reported his science officer, Dr. Yuki Tanaka. "This system has a rogue planet. No star, just a planet drifting through deep space. Temperature is near absolute zero. Mark it down as uninhabitable," Okoye said. "We will move to the next system." "Actually, sir, I think we should claim this one too." Okoye raised an eyebrow. "Why would we want a frozen rock in the middle of nowhere?" Yuki smiled. "Because nobody else wants it. And with coherence technology, we can make it habitable. Imagine a colony lit by artificial suns powered by geothermal energy from the planet's core. It would be completely hidden, impossible to find unless you knew exactly where to look." Okoye considered this. A secret colony. Useful for research or manufacturing things we do not want others to see. Exactly. Claim it. This was humanity's strategy. They claimed every worthless rock, every dangerous system, every location the council had dismissed as useless. Within 2 years, humanity controlled more territory than species who had been spacefaring for thousands of years. Back on Earth, now restored and more beautiful than ever, Dr. Marcus Webb reviewed intelligence reports. His job was to monitor council reactions to humanity's expansion. What he saw worried him. "They are not taking this well," he told his supervisor, Director Chen, who was Sarah Chen's sister. 17 council species have formally requested Earth's admission to the council. The requests were all denied. On what grounds? Officially, humanity has not proven itself peaceful enough. Unofficially, Zelthanos is terrified of us. He knows that if we join the council, we will demand reforms. We will question why technology has been suppressed. We will expose the truth. What truth? Marcus pulled up a file. "We have been analyzing council history. In 50,000 years, they have encountered over 3,000 intelligent species. Guess how many are in the council today?" 847. Correct. What happened to the other 2,153 species? Director Chen's face went pale. They were quarantined like us. Worse. We have found evidence of 73 quarantined species in the last 10,000 years alone. We are the first to ever break free. The others either died in isolation or eventually destroyed themselves. The Council is not protecting the galaxy from dangerous species, Director Chen said slowly. They are protecting their power by eliminating any species that might challenge them. Exactly. And now 3 of those 17 species who requested our admission are threatening to leave the Council if we are not accepted. This was unprecedented. In 50,000 years, no species had ever voluntarily left the Galactic Council. It was unthinkable. But humanity had changed the rules. The Kresh were the first to defect. They were a peaceful species of traders who had grown wealthy by serving as middlemen for Council commerce. But human trade practices were more efficient, more fair, and far more profitable. When the Council denied Earth's admission, the Kresh announced they were leaving. "We have seen the truth," the Kresh ambassador declared. "The Council does not maintain peace. It maintains control. Humanity has shown us what is possible when innovation is encouraged rather than suppressed. We choose progress over stagnation." Within a month, the Draviks and the Telmorians followed. 3 species, controlling 42 star systems, left the Council to form the Terran Trade Alliance with humanity. In the Council chamber, Zelthanos watched his power crumble. This cannot continue. If more species defect, the Council will collapse. Then perhaps it should, Councillor Thren said quietly. Perhaps 50,000 years is long enough. Traitor. Zelthanos hissed. You would side with the humans? I would side with truth, Thren replied. We imprisoned them for being dangerous. But we are the ones who controlled the galaxy through fear. We are the ones who suppressed progress. We are the ones who let species die in quarantine rather than help them. Look at what humanity has accomplished in 2 years of freedom. Imagine what the galaxy could have accomplished in 50,000 years without us holding it back. More councillors nodded in agreement. The tide was turning against Zelthanos, But the High Arbiter was not finished. If peace and reason will not work, then we have no choice. The Council must stop humanity by force before they destroy everything we have built. They have not attacked anyone, Thren protested. They are attacking the very foundation of our civilization, Zelthanos said. That is worse than any weapon. I am calling for a vote. The Council must authorize military action against humanity, total and complete. We gave them mercy once by only imprisoning them. They have proven we were right to fear them. This time we must eliminate the threat permanently. The vote was called. 400 species voted yes, 300 voted no, 147 abstained. The Council had authorized the largest military action in galactic history. 1 million warships would be assembled. Humanity's 78 colonies would be destroyed simultaneously. Earth itself would be sterilized. Humanity's unexpected revenge was working too well, and now the Council would respond with extinction. The Armada assembled at Andromeda Junction, a massive space station at the edge of Council territory. 1 million warships from 400 species all preparing for the same mission. The complete destruction of humanity. Admiral Corthan walked through the command center reviewing deployment plans. He had been chosen to lead the assault on Earth itself. It was meant to be an honor. He felt only disgust. Admiral, we have final confirmation from all battle groups, his aide reported. Every human colony has been assigned sufficient forces for simultaneous strikes. When we give the signal, all 78 human settlements will be destroyed within the same hour. Corthan nodded silently. He remembered Commander Sarah Chen's face 2 years ago, right before humanity broke free. The determination in her eyes, the absolute certainty. She had known this was coming. They all had. What about Earth's defenses? Corthan asked. Surprisingly minimal, sir. They have orbital defense platforms, but nothing that could stop our fleet. Intelligence suggests most of their military forces are spread across their colonies. That is foolish of them. His aide hesitated. Perhaps, sir. Or perhaps they know something we do not. High Arbiter Zelthanos arrived at the command center flanked by guards. His mandibles clicked with satisfaction as he surveyed the vast fleet through the view screens. Magnificent, Zelthanos said. The full might of the Galactic Council, united for the first time in 2,000 years. Humanity will finally learn the cost of defiance. High Arbiter, Corthan said carefully. I must ask one final time. Is there no possibility of negotiation? Humanity has not actually attacked any Council worlds. They have attacked everything we stand for, Zelthanos snapped. They have disrupted our economy, stolen our members, and spread dangerous ideas throughout the galaxy. They are a virus, Admiral, and we are the cure. Corthan said nothing more. He had his orders. The fleet jumped to hyperspace, 1 million warships moving towards 78 human colonies and Earth itself. The largest military operation in recorded history. It would take 6 hours to reach their targets. At the 5-hour mark, everything changed. Admiral, we are receiving reports from all battle groups, his communications officer said, confusion clear in her voice. The human colonies are empty. Empty? Yes, sir. Every colony we are approaching shows 0 life signs. No power signatures. No heat readings. It is as if everyone simply vanished. Corthan felt ice in his veins. All of them? All 78 colonies, sir. Battle group commanders report the same thing, abandoned. Zelthanos pushed forward. They must be hiding underground. Deploy scanners. We are scanning, High Arbiter. There is nothing. The colonies are completely abandoned. Buildings intact, equipment left behind, but no people. How many humans lived in those colonies? Corthan demanded. His aide checked the data. Approximately 400 million people across all settlements. And they evacuated all of them? In secret, without us noticing? Apparently, sir. Zelthanos' compound eyes flickered rapidly, a sign of severe agitation. What about Earth? Tell me Earth is still populated. The communications officer worked her console, connecting to the battle group approaching Sol system. Her face went pale. High Arbiter Admiral Corthan, you need to see this. She put the transmission on the main screen. They saw Earth from orbit. Beautiful blue and green, clouds swirling across its surface, but empty. Every city dark. Every orbital station abandoned. 12 billion humans had vanished. This is impossible, Zelthanos whispered. Where could they go? Then a message buoy activated near Earth. It began broadcasting on all frequencies. A simple text message with coordinates and a single sentence. You wanted to see what we are capable of. We are capable of learning. Meet us at Sagittarius A, the supermassive black hole at the center of the galaxy. Every species knew of it, but none had explored it in 20,000 years. The gravitational forces were too intense, the radiation too deadly, the space-time distortions too extreme. They cannot be there, Zelthanos said. Nothing can survive near Sagittarius A. They said we underestimated them before, Corthan reminded him. They were right. Zelthanos straightened. Then we go there. All battle groups, new coordinates. We will finish this at the galactic core. High Arbiter, that is exactly what they want, Corthan protested. This is obviously a trap. What choice do we have? We have assembled 1 million warships. We have committed to this action. If we turn back now without engaging humanity, the Council will be seen as weak. More species will defect. Our authority will crumble. Corthan realized Zelthanos was right. They had no choice. Humanity had given them no choice. The fleet jumped again, heading toward the galactic center. As they approached, sensors began detecting something impossible. Energy readings on a scale that should not exist. Heat signatures that dwarfed entire stars. A structure, what is that? Zelthanos demanded. The sensor officer's voice shook. High Arbiter, it appears to be a Dyson sphere. Around which star? Not around a star, sir. Around Sagittarius A itself. Around the supermassive black hole. The view screen showed it as they emerged from hyperspace, a shell of matter surrounding the black hole, impossibly vast, glowing with captured energy. The structure was incomplete, covering perhaps 40% of the sphere. But even that partial construction was the largest artificial structure any of them had ever seen. Energy output is approximately 10 to the power of 44 watts, the sensor officer reported numbly. That is equal to the combined energy output of every other structure in the galaxy. They built this in 2 years? Zelthanos could barely speak. It appears so, High Arbiter. Corthan stared at the impossible structure. How many humans would it take to build something like this? Billions. At least 12 billion, probably more. So that was where Earth's population had gone, and the colonists, all of them working together on this single megastructure. But why? The answer came as a new transmission activated. This time it was a live video. Commander Sarah Chen appeared on screen, but she was no longer a commander. Her uniform now bore the insignia of an admiral. Welcome to humanity's new home, Chen said. Behind her, through large windows, the black hole's accretion disk glowed like a second sun. I see you brought friends. 1 million warships. Very impressive. It would have been enough to destroy every human colony and sterilize Earth. You might have even killed a few billion of us before we could respond. Zelthanos leaned toward the screen. Surrender now and we will spare your species. This madness can still end peacefully. Chen laughed. It was not a pleasant sound. Madness? High Arbiter, you have no idea what sanity looks like. For 2 years you watched us expand into systems you thought worthless. You saw us build colonies in places you believed impossible. You watched us break every rule of physics you thought absolute. And you learned nothing. She stood up. The camera pulled back to show the command center behind her. Dozens of humans working at stations, all calm, all focused. You wanted to see what we are capable of, Chen continued. Let me show you. Computer, activate the coherence gate network. On every ship in the Council fleet, instruments went haywire. Space itself seemed to ripple like water. Then, all around them, portals opened. Not hyperspace jumps, not wormholes. Something else entirely. What you are seeing is our true achievement, Chen explained. The Dyson sphere around Sagittarius A is not just a habitat. It is a power source for the most advanced network in the galaxy. We have placed coherence gates in orbit around every star system within 50,000 light-years. Every world, every colony, every major trade route. Corthan checked his sensors. The portals were stable. Through them, he could see other parts of the galaxy. Thousands of portals all connected to this central hub. We can reach any location instantly, Chen said. We can transport ships, materials, or weapons anywhere we choose. The entire galaxy is now within our reach. Zelthanos' mandibles trembled. What do you want? Want? Chen's expression hardened. We wanted freedom. You denied it. We wanted acceptance. You denied that too. We wanted to show the galaxy what was possible when innovation was encouraged instead of suppressed. You responded with genocide. She walked closer to the camera. So here is what happens next. You have 2 choices. You can attack us with your 1 million warships. We will destroy you. Every single vessel. We have had 2 years to prepare for this moment, and we have weapons you cannot imagine. Or, Selthanos asked weakly, or you can listen to a new proposal, one that does not end with everyone dying. Corthan waited. The entire fleet waited. 1 million warships facing an impossible structure around a black hole, piloted by a species that had just demonstrated they could reach anywhere in the galaxy instantly. What is your proposal? Corthan asked. Chen smiled. Not yet, Admiral. First, let me show you what happens if you choose violence. The screen went dark and every Council ship's weapon systems activated on their own. Targeting computers locked onto each other. Every ship in the fleet was now aiming at another Council vessel. This is what we can do, Chen's voice said over audio only. We have had access to your computer systems for over 100 years. Every ship in your fleet runs on code we have studied and learned to manipulate. If we wanted, we could make you destroy each other right now. We could turn your fleet into our weapon. The weapon systems deactivated. Normal control returned. But we will not, Chen said. Because unlike you, we do not fear other species reaching their potential. We will give you a choice, and we will accept whatever you decide. The video returned. Chen stood with her hands behind her back, looking directly at the camera. So, High Arbiter Zelthanos, what will it be? Extinction? Or evolution? Admiral Chen waited for the Council's response. Behind her, through the massive windows of the command center, the black hole's accretion disk painted the cosmos in shades of blue and gold. 12 billion humans lived and worked in the megastructure surrounding Sagittarius A, the heart of humanity's new civilization. On the Council fleet's flagship, High Arbiter Zelthanos stood frozen. His compound eyes reflected the portal network surrounding them, thousands of gateways connecting humanity to every corner of the galaxy. 1 million warships suddenly seemed very small. This is an ultimatum, Zelthanos finally said. You would threaten the entire Council? Chen's expression did not change. No, High Arbiter. We would offer the Council a choice. There is a difference. Let me explain our proposal clearly so there is no misunderstanding. She gestured, and a holographic display appeared between them, visible to both her command center and the Council fleet. It showed the galaxy divided into colored zones. For 50,000 years, the Council has maintained power through 3 methods, Chen began. First, controlling technology and suppressing innovation. Second, managing economies through artificial scarcity. Third, eliminating species that might challenge your authority through quarantine and eventual extinction. That is not... Zelthanos started to protest. We have the records, High Arbiter. We cracked your archives. We know about all 73 species quarantined in the last 10,000 years. We know none of them survived. We know you watched them die rather than help them evolve peacefully. Counselor Thren's voice came over the communication channel. If this is true, High Arbiter, then we have committed genocide. Multiple times, Zelthanos said nothing. His silence was answer enough. Chen continued. Humanity proposes something different. We call it the Terran Compact. It is based on 3 simple principles. First, voluntary association. No species is forced to join or stay. Second, free exchange of technology and ideas. No suppression of innovation. Third, mutual defense without dominance. We protect each other, but no one rules. The hologram changed to show a new map. Earth's colonies glowed blue. The 3 species that had already defected from the Council glowed green. Empty spaces surrounded them. Any species that wishes to join the compact may do so, Chen said. We will share our coherence technology freely. We will help them build, grow, and advance at their own pace. We do not demand tribute. We do not control trade. We simply offer partnership among equals. And if we refuse? Zelthanos asked. Then you continue as you are, Chen said simply. The Council remains the Council. Your 400 loyal species can maintain your current system. We will not interfere. But you control the portals, Admiral Corthan pointed out. You can reach anywhere instantly. That is a military advantage we cannot counter. True, Chen admitted, which is why we propose a demilitarized agreement. Humanity will not use the portal network for military purposes against Council worlds. In exchange, the Council agrees not to attempt another attack on human colonies or Earth. Zelthanos' mandibles clicked rapidly. You are offering peace? After everything? We are offering better than peace, Chen said. We are offering progress. High Arbiter, your civilization has stagnated for 50 millennia. You have maintained stability, yes, but at what cost? How many species could have become great if you had helped them instead of containing them? How much could the galaxy have achieved? She looked directly at Zelthanos. You imprisoned us for being dangerous. You were right. But you never asked why we were dangerous. Humans are dangerous because we refuse to accept limits. We refuse to believe something is impossible just because no one has done it before. We turn prisons into laboratories and cages into launch pads. Your aggression, Zelthanos began. Our aggression was survival instinct, Chen interrupted. Yes, we fought wars. Yes, we developed weapons. But we also created art, music, philosophy, and science. We are capable of both destruction and creation. When you locked us away, you thought our violent nature would destroy us. Instead, it unified us. You created exactly what you feared most. The command center behind Chen bustled with activity. Humans of every ethnicity worked together, their differences meaningless in the face of their shared purpose. So here is what we offer, Chen said. Join the Terran Compact. Receive full access to our technology. Help us build a galaxy based on cooperation rather than control. Or stay in the Council and maintain your current system. We will not force you. But we will also not pretend you have authority over us anymore. Zelthanos turned to look at the other council representatives connected to the channel. Hundreds of species watched, waiting for his response. He saw doubt in their expressions. Fear. But also hope. Councillor Thren spoke first. High Arbiter, I formally request to address this proposal. Denied, Zelthanos snapped. With respect, High Arbiter, you cannot deny this, Thren said firmly. The human proposal must be discussed by the full council. I call for an emergency session. Other voices joined him. Within moments, dozens of councillors were demanding a vote. Zelthanos realized his control was slipping. Very well, the High Arbiter said coldly. We will discuss this proposal. Admiral Corthan, withdraw the fleet to a safe distance. We are returning to council chambers. One more thing, Chen said before they could disconnect. While you discuss, I want to broadcast something to every species in the galaxy. Not just council members, everyone. What? Zelthanos demanded. The truth, Chen pressed a button. Throughout the galaxy, on every communication device in every species' territory, a message began playing. It showed the archives humanity had discovered. Evidence of suppressed technology. Records of quarantined species. Video of worlds left to die in isolation. 50,000 years of council control exposed in minutes. You cannot do this, Zelthanos shouted. This will cause chaos. This will cause questions, Chen corrected. Questions that should have been asked millennia ago. Now every species can decide for themselves whether the council's version of peace is worth the price. The transmission ended. Zelthanos stood in the command center of his flagship, surrounded by 1 million warships that suddenly meant nothing. Humanity had just bypassed military power entirely. They had gone directly to the hearts and minds of every species in the galaxy. 3 days later, the emergency council session began. But it looked nothing like the previous gatherings. Species were arguing openly. Delegations walked out in protest. The chamber that had maintained order for 50,000 years descended into chaos. Councillor Thren stood at the central podium. The evidence humanity provided is real. I have verified it personally. For millennia, we have suppressed progress and eliminated threats through isolation. We told ourselves it was for the greater good. But how many great civilizations did we destroy? How much did we lose? Order! Zelthanos demanded. We did what was necessary to maintain peace. You maintained control, Thren countered. There is a difference, and now we must choose. Do we continue as we have, growing weaker as more species defect to humanity, or do we admit our mistakes and join their compact? The vote was called. It was not even close. 512 species voted to dissolve the council and join the Terran Compact. 283 voted to remain in a reformed council. 52 abstained. The Galactic Council, after 50,000 years, ceased to exist. 10 years later, the galaxy was unrecognizable. The Terran Compact had grown to include over 900 species. Technology advanced faster than at any point in recorded history. Species that had been stagnant for millennia suddenly flourished with access to new ideas and tools. Not everyone joined. The Reformed Council still existed, maintained by species who preferred the old ways. Humanity respected their choice and traded with them fairly. Some of those species eventually joined the Compact. Others remained independent. That was their right. Admiral Sarah Chen, now retired, walked through the gardens of New Earth, a terraformed world orbiting a stable star in the Andromeda sector. Children of a dozen species played together, their differences celebrated rather than feared. She smiled, remembering the desperate race to break through the barrier so many years ago. Her communicator chimed, a message from Admiral Okoye, still commanding exploration fleets. "Sarah, you need to see this. We found something at the edge of the galaxy. Ruins. Incredibly old, and they have the same quantum lock technology the Council used for their barrier." Chen felt her heart rate increase. "Are you saying the Council did not invent that technology?" "Exactly. Someone else did. Someone older. And according to the translations we are getting, they left a warning. They said they tried to control the galaxy once. They failed because they underestimated the species they tried to contain." Chen looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there, beyond known space, an older civilization had made the same mistakes as the Council, and they had left a warning that no one had heeded. "Keep investigating," Chen ordered. "And Okoye? Prepare the compact. If there is one thing humanity has learned, it is this. The universe is bigger and stranger than we can imagine, and cages never hold forever." She ended the communication and returned to watching the children play. One of them, a human girl no older than 8, was explaining quantum mechanics to a young creche. The alien listened with fascination, his tentacles waving in excitement. This was humanity's true revenge against the Council. Not violence. Not destruction. Simply showing the galaxy what was possible when species worked together instead of fearing each other. The Council had tried to contain humanity's dangerous nature. Instead, they had concentrated it, refined it, and ultimately unleashed something far more threatening than any weapon. They had unleashed hope. On the edge of space, young species looked up at the stars and no longer saw limits. They saw possibilities. They saw a future where advancement was not suppressed but celebrated, where differences were strengths rather than threats. The Council had feared what humanity would become if released. They were right to fear, but they had feared the wrong thing. They had feared human aggression, human weapons, human violence. They should have feared human optimism, the refusal to accept that things cannot be better, the insistence that cages are meant to be broken and limits are meant to be exceeded. 300 years in a cage had not broken humanity. It had taught them patience. It had unified them. It had given them time to plan, to dream, and to prepare for the day they would be free. And when that day came, they did not seek revenge through destruction. They sought revenge through demonstration, by showing the galaxy everything it could have been if the Council had chosen encouragement over containment. That was Earth's unexpected revenge. Not fire and blood, but fire and light. The fire of innovation, burning away old fears. The light of progress, showing new paths forward. The Council's worst fears had come true. Humanity was dangerous. Humanity was aggressive. Humanity refused to be contained. And the galaxy was better for it. Chen returned to her home as the sun set, painting the sky in colors that would have been impossible on old Earth. But this was the new galaxy, where impossible was just another challenge to overcome. Somewhere in the archives of the dissolved Council, historians would debate whether they should have handled humanity differently, whether there was a way to integrate such a dangerous species peacefully. Chen knew the answer. There had been a way. A simple way. They could have helped instead of hindered. They could have guided instead of imprisoned. They could have trusted instead of feared. But they had not. And now the galaxy belonged to those who dared to dream beyond their cages, human and alien alike working together, building a future that no one could contain. The Council had been right about one thing. Humanity was dangerous. They were just dangerous to the status quo, dangerous to stagnation, dangerous to the idea that some species deserve to be free while others deserve to be contained. And in the end, that was the most dangerous thing of all.